This is part 2 of a 4-part series about Sonic the Hedgehog. If you nerds haven't yet, check out the first part first. Or don't. I'm not your mom. Yet.
Hey there. While we like to joke around here on the Skybeak from time to time, we have a very serious matter to discuss. Each day, more and more Sega Genesis titles are being ignored by the masses in favor of games like Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and the other ones. The Genesis catalog is in danger of a rapid decline in relevance, and we here at the Skybeak would like to re-educate you on the vast library of Genesis greatness.
What are you doing?
This is a matter of national concern, Mods.
Why do we gotta know about more old games? On top of this one? What is this, history class?
Yeah, but don't tell the audience that. They might click off.
Woo, what's so good about Genesis games? I can play them on my phone. I won't, but I could. That's how worthless they are.
Yeah, you can't play Overwatch on your phone, Blue. I think.
You guys gotta shut up before I have a conniption. You're missing the point. So many people know the Genesis as just the machine that Sonic built. But the Genesis had games, dude. The Revenge of Shinobi, Shining Force, Phantasy Star, Ristar, Toe Jam and Earl, Bonanza Brothers, Game Ground, Rocket Knight Adventures.
Stop! You're going to have to get footage of all of these games.
I don't even care. Everyone needs to know, even if it kills me.
Nice gain ground, Sneak.
It was awesome! Why does nobody play it?
I don't know what the hell Gain Ground is.
Motsy, you're a guru. You don't know what Mario is.
You're right. I don't know what Mario is. Maybe because I'm too busy fucking my boyfriend. How many men have you fucked?
0.
Well, I believe in your cause. I love Game Ground personally.
You haven't played that shit. No one has. Only I have. That's why I need to make this stupid PSA without Dumb and Dumber over there getting on my ass about fucking men.
You're dumber.
No, you are.
Well then, maybe your PSA worked. Because I'm interested in all these games you just mentioned.
You know what, Rudy? I can always count on you to be the voice of reason. I also have no idea why Munch thought we'd get along with each other. You two are freaking nuts.
Get along? Nuts to that. I'm just trying to be funny.
Did you ruin my PSA as a bit?
No.
Ugh. So please, if you'd like to avoid turning out like half of our cast here on the Skybeak, consider trying out a different Genesis game today. You never know. You might just like it. Thank you.
This is Manual Mania.
Being that this was a very simple to understand game about a hedgehog beating scientists in a game of cat and mouse, there wouldn't be too much trouble explaining what the hell this is to the general public, right? Sure, okay, we have the whole human girlfriend shtick, an entire posse of friends that got sent to the guillotines.
Except you stay.
You would be dead wrong if you thought this was easy. The fact is, there was many different attempts to explain autism to the masses, but I don't think many of them worked with the conservative parents of the 1990s.
I'm on drugs, okay?
So in Japan, there was a 3-part promotional manga released in Mega Drive Fan magazine between July and August of 1991. I don't think the artist or writers were ever credited, at least that information doesn't seem to exist online in English. And while there's not an official translation, I doubt there ever will be, it's interesting to look through for several reasons. For one, it includes a lot of elements from Sonic 1's development, like the band members, Sonic's lighter hue of blue in the first 2 issues, just name-dropping Clockwork and Sparkling Zone. We'll get back to what that means later, but it's a bit of a glimpse into what Sonic 1 was shaping up to be early in development, before issue 3 closely resembles the final game. Sonic's now in a much darker blue, the band only appears in issue 1 as it is, and Sonic's just rescuing the various animals in the game from Eggman. I'd say it's worth the read, especially for the great art. Volume 3 attaches one of the weirder official stories for Sonic's origins that I've ever read. This was actually kept rather late, as it even popped back up for the special birthday release of Sonic Adventure 2 in Japan.
Can I read this? Pretty please.
Okay. I'll bite. Why do you want to read this?
Because I always imagined another life where I was a teacher at an elementary school that read to children every day.
That actually sounds pretty nice and not evil.
And then I'd make them do a 10-page essay on every chapter I read.
There it is. Take it away, Adolf.
Mary Garnett, a children's book author, was married to an Air Force test pilot. Though he's given no name, he's affectionately referred to as Hedgehog by Mary herself because of how his hair sticks up after he takes off his helmet. Because of this, Mary comes up with a cartoon mascot to put on his flight jacket, Sonic the Hedgehog. Mary goes on to come up with all sorts of stories about Sonic to tell her daughter and her friends. On his mission to be the first man to break the sound barrier, Hedgehog's jet spontaneously combusts mid-flight, killing him in an enormous explosion. "40 years later, a camerawoman named Meg comes into town in order to get coverage on a local air show. Stopping by at an antique shop on the way there, she stumbles upon Hedgehog's old jacket, somehow miraculously surviving the explosion 40 years ago. Meg remembered Sonic, having heard tales of his adventures when she was a child, and bought the jacket. At the air show, Meg was getting photographs of the planes in formation, when suddenly, one of the aircrafts crashed into the ground and exploded on the tarmac. Meg gets trapped in the inferno and nearly succumbs to the flames, when a hand reaches out and leads her to safety. She's found unconscious miles away from the accident on a grassy hill and taken to a hospital, where she notices on her jacket Sonic isn't on there anymore. Later, when she goes to get her photos developed, she sees that it was Sonic who came to her rescue.
How very Don Bluth of you, Sega. Unfortunately, that's still better than what the Americans gave us. You want to take this one, Neil?
Hey guys, this is Neil Ladd from the Skybeak Online crew. I'm reading the American Sonic story, the Sonic Pitch Bible, okay? This is American, it's from the US, this is what we came up with for our lovable hero Hedgehog Sonic. So let's just see what they got. Okay, so we open up on our protagonist, our hero, Sonny Hedgehog. That's his actual factual name, Sonny Hedgehog. And he was born in the early 21st century. So he's a 2000s kid. He's one of us. And he was born in Hardway, Nebraska for some ungodly reason. I don't know why they chose there. He has a mother. He lives with his mother and 5 sisters. They're getting on that early, Sonic having sisters. And he ate like what hedgehogs normally eat. He ate bugs, slugs, the occasional milkshake, the occasional entire burger. You know the deal. Unfortunately, Sonny does not have much of a father figure because, well, his dad died. He fell into a river poisoned with toxic waste. I don't live in Nebraska. I don't know if they actually have that. Nebraskans, can you guys speak up here? Anyway, Sonny, he was kind of peeved. He was grieving the loss of his father, and because of that, he became a kind of menace, a local menace. And part of his menace included he would pretend to be a bowling ball at the local bowling alley. The bowler would throw him, not realizing he was an animal and not an inanimate bowling ball. And just as he was gonna hit the pins, he'd uncurl and ruin their perfect game. He would also bribe elderly women by giving them his spikes to knit with. And in exchange, he would get some hot, juicy old lady gossip about what Mildred is, what kind of skink she is, what she's wearing today. While he was at it, he learned how to read and write, you know? So yeah, no, that's the thing. We never really figure out if Sonny's supposed to be like an actual animal or if he's like a cartoon. That's just something that's like up to interpretation for some reason. Anyway, Sonny's pastime was taking a run at the local racetrack. He caught the eye of some coach who wondered if he had too many of his iconic whopping beef gloppers. That's a hilarious reference they threw in there that I actually laughed. But because of his skill, he actually does make it onto the track team and he wins several track awards. But unfortunately, Sonny, he can't continue his sporting career because the winter's coming up. And for a cartoon hedgehog, that means he has to hibernate. But he don't want to hibernate because, well, he's an active kid. But unfortunately, the sweet embrace of the Arctic freezing winter air claims him and he is fast asleep hibernating. During hibernation, Sonny is awoken by a series of loud mechanical gnashing and crashing, and the earth is just rumbling and shaking, and Sonny, he's trying to get out of here and find, like, what the heck is going on. And that's when he meets a friendly scientist, one Ovi Kintobor. Who has absolutely no sinister intentions at all. Kintobor is a mad scientist with a language translator which he uses to understand wooden creatures, such as Sonny. Or maybe Sonny could talk to him, he's like a cartoon, but maybe not, who knows. Anyway, Kintobor explains that all that like mechanical crap was him looking for the 7 Chaos Emeralds. This is the first instance of there being 7 Chaos Emeralds in the Sonic canon. It's really weird. He already has 6, and he's going to use the Chaos Emeralds to rid the world of all its evil and pollution and corruptness and disgusting evil lard by containing it in the Chaos Emeralds. Kintobor also helps like wounded, sick animals, and when he finds out Sonny can read and write, he offers to make him a lab assistant. Sonny accepts because, well, he doesn't have a dad, and so this guy is kind of like a daddy. I mean, he's a man with a big mustache. But one day, sorry, not Ovi, I don't know him on a first name freaking basis. Kintobor, he has Sonny run on a treadmill, a special treadmill. And Sonny runs so fast, he goes beyond 761 miles per hour, and he breaks the speed of light. And doing this, it makes him turn a brilliant shade of cobalt blue, and makes his spike turn into 6 of them instead of a lot. And with this new look, Sonny decides, you know what, this name fucking sucks. I don't even know who named me this in the first place. I'm gonna go with Sonic. So that's where he gets his name. That's the backstory. He also decides to change his footwear, I don't know. Now, if that was the last Kintobor-related accident, everything would be chilled. We would all be fine. But unfortunately, while Kintobor is eating a boiled egg meal, he gets hit with an explosion of chaos energy. It wipes him clean out. And Sonic manages to hide in some kind of like lead closet or something. I don't know, it's D-Day. And when Sonic emerges, he finds out that the chaos energy has fused Kintobor with the evil of the chaos and the half-eaten egg he was eating. And he transforms into this fat, obese, ugly, evil man. And his name reverses also, because he thought, what the hell does Kintobor even mean? I'm gonna go with Dr. Robotnik. Now Sonic realizes that this guy's friggin' nuts. I don't have a father anymore. He runs all the way to Green Hill Zone, trying to get out of there as fast as possible. But when he gets back to Green Hill Zone, he realizes, oh my god, all my animal friends are back with Robotnik. I gotta save him from this madman. And of course, the game takes place directly after all of that. It is 1 second after Sonic realizes he has to save his friends. Well, Sonic Team, there's your story. You're not getting any better. This is American, alright? And this is the story of Sonic the Hedgehog. Thank you.
Okay, to be fair, most of that was dropped from our first draft, and any lingering details from this plot were more or less dropped by 93, barely used at all by the US team. It did appear in their own comic, also coming out in 1991. There, they kept the Ovi Kintobor stuff and Sonic starting off brown, but none of that Sonny Hedgehog junk. This whole narrative is really weird, as, like, the Americans sure created it and supposedly supported it as late as the 1997 Sonic website, but it certainly isn't in the US manual. But interestingly enough, the British Sonic the Comic did use this as a baseline for their stories, so it wasn't completely unused. So what is the plot of Sonic 1? Well, I'd like to present that for you here.
Dr. Eggman, the evil genius scientist, has begun to embrace his evil ways again. Sonic, that annoying cheeky hedgehog, he's the one who's always ruining my great plans. This time, I'm going to crush him with the power of my science! Hehehehe. South Island is a treasure trove of gems and ruins. It is also said to be the island where the mystical Chaos Emeralds lay dormant. The Chaos Emeralds are a super substance that gives energy to all living things. They can also be used to create nuclear weapons and laser beams through science and technology. However, no one knows how to obtain them. This is because South Island is a moving island, and the Chaos Emeralds exist within the distortions that the island creates. Then, one day, danger came upon the island. Dr. Eggman and his henchmen landed on the island. I'll make sure to get my hands on the Chaos Emeralds, even if I'll have to dig up this entire island. Dr. Eggman built a huge fortress on the corner of the island and began to develop it. Eggman, you still won't learn your lesson! Sonic rushed over after hearing the rumors. Dr. Eggman's harassment was a regular occurrence. He has always been dealt with so far. Dr. Eggman may think of Sonic as his nemesis, but he's no match for Sonic. But this time, oh my, something's not right. You see, Sonic, this time it's different. I've turned all the animals on the island into robots! You guys! They'll all do what I tell them to. In other words, the whole island is your enemy. Ha 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 ha! This time, the whole world will be mine. This is terrible! Go, Sonic the Hedgehog! Everyone is waiting for your help!
It's dramatic. It gets you excited. It does so much to explain what's going on in a funny, unique way. How did they handle it in the US?
Dr. Ivan Robotnik, the mad scientist, is snatching innocent animals and turning them into evil robots. Only one tough dude can put an end to this bad doctor's bogus plans. It's Sonic, the real cool hedgehog with the spike haircut and power sneakers that give him super speed. Help Sonic fight hordes of metal maniacs and do the loop with the supersonic spin attack. Speed down twisting tunnels and swing over dangerous booby traps. Leap over lava pits and touch burning rocks. Then splash right through the chilling waters in an underground death trap. Speed through space. Loop till you're dizzy. Save the animals and become the superhero. Be Sonic. Be atomic. Yeah!
Okay, Rudy had a lot of fun reading that out for you all, I can tell. I also should mention, Eggman was renamed Dr. Robotnik for the US. They've since recanonized that name even in the Japanese versions, so it's not really a big deal now. And at the time, I do kind of understand why they didn't want to name their antagonist Eggman. It's just hard for people to understand the US in the 90s was a completely different beast than it is today. I don't think Eggman would have gone too well. Okay, so I'm hoping that everyone here autistic enough to watch a lengthy Sonic documentary /review /MST3K knockoff is capable of handling the concept of moving left and right on a D-pad. Then point Dexter, all three of those Genesis action buttons, they jump. The longer you press the jump button, the higher you jump. This is all riveting stuff, I know. What really separates Sonic from the rest is that spin jump. Sonic turns himself into a projectile, so it doesn't really matter where you jump. Be it underneath, on top of, to the side, you will destroy that Badnik or Eggman mech. Mario can suck that down. But there's a common trap that a new Sonic player tends to fall into, and it's a common disease that's affected hundreds. Not learning to roll. And I don't mean the spin dash. Yes, this game doesn't have a spin dash. Just like how you don't have any bitches.
Hey, it's not my fault that they didn't want their belly button suckled on. They knew what they signed up for, okay? Okay.
I don't think he was talking about you.
Oh, I guess I didn't need to expose myself like that at all.
Yeah, Neil, don't talk for the rest of the video, please. Listen, you gotta learn how to roll in a Sonic game. Sure, Sonic 2 kinda holds your hand and lets you spin dash to solve all your problems. But this is the real world. Not only that, but you can reach your maximum speed in the game rolling. Like, I can't stress this enough, learn to roll. Another important item are the rings. Most platformers have a common item scattered around the place for you to collect. Coins in Mario, bananas in Donkey Kong Country, Wumpa Fruit in Crash Bandicoot, gems in Spyro. In this case, we have golden rings. Collecting 100 grants you an extra life, which was law in a video game released in the 90s, but the more important thing is the fact that they save your life. Outside of time overs, being crushed in bottomless pits, Sonic will survive any fatal attack as long as he has even just a single ring. The trade-off is that Sonic falls to the floor and loses the rings, and usually you can only gather up around 20 of them again, so you really don't want to get hit when you have 99 of these things. But this mechanic makes total sense for a game like this. I mean, you want to experiment with your abilities, but if failure meant instant death, players would be less likely to use their moveset. At that point, this game would have been nothing different from its contemporaries. And while I'd argue it makes Sonic easier than most of the Mario games, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing either, because there's still this sense of getting better at the classic games that's very satisfying, and it's led these games to be some of my most consistent replays. And if it was intentional or not, I think that the rings were definitely a factor in that, even if it's just subconsciously. Other power-ups are stored in computer monitors scattered around the zones. 10 rings, speed shoes, invincibility, extra lives, and an energy shield for a free hit are all found in the CRT TVs. And spin attack reveals reward, not, death. There's the lampposts. Yes, lampposts, that's what they were called in the first game. Star posts became their name in Sonic 2. Weird knowledge you needed to have for no reason. These are the checkpoints. Not much to say here. You die, you end up the last one you touch. That's pretty much it. Okay, there's a 10-minute time limit, but I don't see how you could spend that long in one of these stages if you were actively trying to finish it. And finally, if you're capable enough to keep at least 50 rings at the end of the stage, a giant ring appears at the goalpost. The equivalent of the flag from Mario. If you hop into it before Sonic runs away from the signpost, you can enter the special stage. Once in here, this mind freak of a stage starts with the world spinning around you as Sonic tries to explore a gauntlet to try to find the Chaos Emerald. The only thing you need to avoid are the most false advertising blocks in video game history, the goal blocks. Touching them kicks you out, so avoid them like the plague. Most blocks are safe to touch, but if you reverse the direction the stage is rotating or speed up or slow down the rotation. But for the most part, it's not too bad to get to the Emerald. The Emerald is always surrounded by multicolored rocks that Sonic can slowly destroy by touching them. This doesn't sound too bad until you're being flung, bounced, and spun 50,000 miles a second directly into a goal block. Sudden realization hits that you now need to attempt to collect 50 rings in the Labyrinth Zone, and you start thinking thoughts that's gonna get you having your rights read back to you in court. A fun fact is that there is code in the game for a smoother scroll in these stages, which was disabled, likely to make these easier on the player. In a second, let's move on to the normal zones.